Cups is a weekly educational program developed by the Kauffman Foundation.
Over the years, we've added more cities. It creates a great energy here to see what's happening across the country.
What I've learned from other entrepreneurs is very, very valuable.
Sitting in a room with other people that have ideas too, it helps people to leave thinking, you know what, my idea is worth something. It's worth pursuing. It's worth going after it. Even if it looks like a challenge, I should still go out and try to do it.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. I am Tabitha Melvin. I am your MC for this morning. And so I want to thank everybody for getting on. We've got a great looking group of people. And I know this is a very special time for us. This is our on the road. And so we are visiting Montgomery. And so I'm super excited because it's, like I said before, if you didn't hear, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump from my house. And so we are going to start with recognizing our sponsors. A lot of stuff goes into making sure this happens. And so we've got Minnesota State University, the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. We've got Connect Magazine. We have Tailwind Group. We have Pinnacle Business Solutions, Pioneer Bank, SCORE, Mogwai, and Dunkin' Donuts. And so thank you all for helping us. And the next page should be, there we go, our organizers. So we're gonna actually have all of our organizers unmute, if you would please, and we'll go by and introduce ourselves. But first, before I do that, raise your hand or give me one of these if it's your first time to 1 million cups, because we wanna make sure that we welcome you. You know, some of the faces I can't see, but so what we want to encourage you to do is, as we go through as organizers, if you are new, if you would reach out to one of us or let us reach out to you, we want to make sure that we are helping everyone connect. And so that's one of the goals of our organization. And so I am Tabitha Melvin. I am an organizer here and I represent Primerica. Who's next?
This is Yvonne. I'm with the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship at Minnesota State Mankato. And some of you might not know, I also own a company called Internet Connections. I've owned it for 26 years.
Hi, I'm Bobby Drangler, and I'm with Citizens Voices here in Mankato, Minnesota.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Mike Hahn. I'm with the Small Business Development Center here in Mankato, and I'll send it over to Gary.
Hey, thanks, Mike. Gary Shatta, also with the SBDC and with SCORE, and also a pretty close neighbor to Montgomery. I'm glad I'll have to connect with Brian since I'm trying to, do a little fishing and see where he got that big fish. And I'll send it to Tyler.
Tyler Grossgreitz. I own Hedgehog Advertising, and I am the marketing organizer for MC Mankato.
Tony Friesen from Two Pins Bakery.
And is Caitlin on?
Tony's on. Do you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Good
Okay.
job.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
I think, did Caitlin hop on, Yvonne? Otherwise, I think we're good. So that brings us, I think, to our first presenter. And so a part of 1 Million Cups, so she's going to have 6 minutes to present, and then we're going to have a 15 to 20 minute Q&A with everybody that's online. So if you have not been here before, we just want to make sure I'm just going to kind of go over, so there's a couple things. I'm sure everyone's done a million Zooms, but just in case, down on the bottom, there's a chat screen. And you can type in a chat if you have a question for anybody, or I believe there's a raise hand by the participants. You can hit raise hand and Yvonne will call on you as well. So it is my privilege and pleasure to introduce to you Erin Berry with Live Your Truth Seminars. Erin, it is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I am very happy to have this opportunity to share my business, Live Your Truth Seminars, and a little bit about me with all of you this morning. So thank you very much for that. If I want to be free, I've got to be me. Not the me I think you think I should be, not the me I think my wife thinks I should be. not the me I think my kids think I should be. If I want to be free, I've got to be me. That is a quote by Bill Gove, and it is a truth that I have found in my life. 6 years ago, I was a completely different person than what I am now. I lived a life of conformity. So during that time of my life, I really did not know what it was that I wanted. And so I lived to please others, and I lived to fulfill everybody else's expectations of myself rather than me. And then I went through a transformation, and that transformation changed very many areas of my life. It changed me physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And because of that transformation and change, that is the reason why I decided that I wanted to start my Live Your Truth Seminars business. And I wanted to start it so that I could help people get the same kind of transformation that I had. Prior, when I wasn't living my truth, I was unhappy, unhealthy, and working a job that I did not like. I would drive into work thinking about my drive home in the afternoons, and I was financially stressed. So I want to help people find their happiness and live fulfilled lives. Now that I am creating my own life, I like to empower people in transition to discover their dreams and live their truths. Some of the things that I do are life coaching, motivational speaking, and directing masterminds and retreats. So when I started Live Your Truth seminars, I really was focused on, I really wanted to do retreats. So then I realized that doing retreats was not the way to start. I needed to start on other venues and build up so that I would be able to one day do the retreats. So right now, what I do is I do some coaching and I do some speaking. I was doing creative workshops, but those require a gathering. And I have also done a few weekend retreats. So about a year and a half ago, I got really frustrated with my 9-to-5 job that I currently have. And so I really did some deep reflecting and figuring out what it was that I wanted to do and how I wanted to move forward with my life, because I was stuck in a phase of not doing what I wanted to. I wasn't living my truth. So I realized that at that point, I really wanted to explore the life coaching and what that meant. I had done a little bit, but it wasn't going to be a focus for me because I wasn't certified. And so I decided that I'm going to pursue the life coaching. I am currently working on my certification right now. I've got all my class hours. I am just finishing up on the required coaching hours that I need to log. And also I have a couple more mentoring hours that I need to get. So one of the things that I realized as I started digging into the life coaching was that I really was treating my business as a hobby, and I wasn't treating it as a business. So I'm really making a change in my marketing and sales, and I am focusing on the life coaching of my business. So what I offer right now are coaching sessions, 2 sessions a month for $250 or 3 sessions a month for $350. Because I am in the process of building the life coaching, I'm also creating 2 packages or programs, Live Your Truth Life Coaching. So that's a 90-day program and a 6-month program. And they're $2,499 and $4,999. And I want to have those ready in June. And when I have those ready in June, one of the things that I'm also going to do is kind of relaunch my website and get that updated with a lot of the marketing things that I've been learning in the past month as well. So just a little bit about life coaching. And I'm going to tell you what life coaching is not to begin with, because life coaching is not psychotherapy. Life coaching is not looking into the past and asking the question of how did I? Coaching is not to work on issues. What life coaching is life coaching is to move forward. It is from going from good to getting better. So when we're looking at life coaching, we are looking at where do I want to go? We're all about discovery and awareness. And I like to create co-creative relationships with my coachees so that we can find their unique dreams and desires so that they can live with purpose. The ways that I help people is, firstly, I believe that all people are whole, competent, capable, creative, and resourceful. So I bring that into my coaching relationship that I form with my coachees. Lately, what I've seen while I've been doing coaching, a need and what a lot of people are working on is balance and boundaries in their lives, new priorities. Self-care is really big right now, and also getting the connections. The vision that I have for Live Your Truth seminars is I want to expand the coaching, so that's what I'm working on right now. I want to do more and more speaking. In the next 5 years, I'd like to be speaking at bigger events. Right now, I just kind of speak at networking groups and that sort of thing. And then in 10 years, I do want to have my retreat center so that I am directing retreats out of the retreat center and doing those kinds of things. So with my transition, a big part of my transformation was triggered because I do like personal growth, and that was something that I had gotten into, and I love books and I love quotes. And so a quote that is significant to me is, there came a time when the risk to remain tight in the bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. And that's a quote by Anais Nin. All right, thank you. That is a little bit about Live Your Truth seminars and a little bit about me. So now I'm ready for questions.
Awesome. So we are opening it up for questions. So if we call on you, would you please unmute yourself? But we'll just do one unmute at a time. That just keeps it easier for everyone to hear. So who's got a question first? Can either put it in the chat or let Yvonne or myself know. Lindsay, go ahead and unmute.
Hi, Erin. How are you marketing your business right now?
Right now, I do not have a good marketing strategy or plan, and so that's something that I've been working on. I have just done a little bit with Facebook, but I'm not utilizing that fully. I have a newsletter, and I'm not utilizing that fully either. So, and then I've done stuff through community ed, which actually, that's not, it's a good thing, it's a good opportunity, but it's not very good, actually.
So it's not profitable to do that?
Well, you're not losing any money, but it really doesn't pull in a group of people as I kind of hope that it would, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
I can piggyback on that. How would you describe your ideal customer? In terms of thinking about marketing, if you can, describe like who's your ideal customer? Is it primarily women or men? Is it someone who's changing jobs, or what are you looking for? What do you enjoy working with?
Yeah, my ideal customers or clients right now are people. They are women. And in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and they are kind of feeling like they're stuck in life. They may not, most likely moms, somebody that has put a lot of other stuff in front of them rather than putting themselves first. So that's what I'm looking at. And I say people in transition, but that even still can be narrowed even further down. So I really look at new moms, and mostly probably moms where their kids are growing up and moving out, after high school and moving on to college, and they're starting to become empty nesters.
Sure. Do they tend to be in any sorts of professions or types of work?
Nope, I haven't noticed that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
I think Jim had his hand up next. Why don't you go ahead, Jim?
Well, my original thought here was, who's your target market on this? And I'm now listening to like the ideal customer. Is that like an urban woman or like a farm wife, something like that?
It would probably be more of an urban woman, but
Okay. Years ago, when I was working on my master's degree in sociology, we did quite an intensive study on farm families and how the patriarch was the master of the property, I should say, and the wife really wasn't allowed to leave the farm. So I'm just kind of curious, but thank you.
Yeah, I think Gary has a question. Did you go ahead, Gary?
Hey, thanks. One, in terms of your marketing, as you said, you admittedly, your plan isn't shaped up. If you haven't utilized, we have sources on the line. The SBDC SCORE, Wendell is on the line from SCORE. You can contact him, get more details, and Mike Hahn and myself, SBDC. But I really would encourage you that you got to shape your plan, and I think you admittedly are aware of that, but those are some free sources that you should take a look at. You also identified speaking, and speaking is one of those things, it's kind of like the first impression, and a good speaker then will lead to other opportunities. So I'm curious of how are you developing, everybody has their craft and how they develop it. What are the avenues that you're using to develop your speaking skills besides going out and speaking?
Well, I have been a member of Toastmasters in the past, and then it didn't necessarily work with my schedule anymore. So now with this new Zoom format for everything, it's kind of fitting back into my schedule. So I have been attending so far as guests, but I'll start joining a Toastmasters group again.
Very good. Yeah, that's good to hear. I know Tony, I believe Tony Friesen worked with you for this talk, and he shared with you some links from Kauffman Foundation about speaking. I don't know if you had much time to spend and look at some of those video vignettes.
Nope, I did not.
Yeah, I would encourage you to look at those. That they have some very good, and again, they're free, instruction from some speakers of how to speak better and present. I think that's really key for any business, is that return business. So if you get out and you speak, whether it's a very community ed event or a small gathering, if you can come across as very credible and present yourself well, now you've got 5, 10 salespeople out there that can say, hey, I heard this Erin Barrett, she was really dynamic and I enjoyed her message. So I think it's important to not get too far ahead and get the assignments without really, having your game as polished as you can. It should always be evolving, but I would encourage you to look at, and Toastmasters is a great jump in there. It's a safe environment, but I also seek other avenues out, like those videos from Kauffman.
All right, thanks, Gary. Good thoughts and questions. We have another question in chat from Jean. Jean, do you want to go ahead and unmute and ask your question out loud, or would you rather have one of us read it? Okay, I'll just read it. It says, you talked about a retreat center in 10 years. Do you envision having that center in Montgomery, or are you looking at a more metro area venue?
I'm definitely not looking at a metro area. When I think of retreat centers, I think of being surrounded by nature, and so that will be really important to me when I do that. and hopefully on a lake because I love water. So beyond that, I haven't looked into where I would want it to be. Ideally, when I first started this, my grandpa owned a resort that I would have bought, but that's no longer in our family. So
Sure. Audra has a question. Audra, if you'd like to unmute, you can go ahead and ask it. Otherwise, I'll read it for you. Give me just a moment. Okay, Audra's question is, Aaron, how ready is the market for your product? The Midwest is known for hardworking, stoic personalities. How can you overcome that and feel more accessible? What are the complementary groups or businesses that you could partner with?
okay. Well, that is part of the challenge is people don't understand what life coaching is. And so that's part of what I need to do is educate people on what life coaching is and what the difference is between that and psychotherapy. So that's part of the reason why I shared that with you guys today as well. And then there was two parts to that question.
So what are some complementary groups or businesses that you can partner with or have partnered with?
Yeah, so I've done some stuff with like I said, community ed, because a lot of people that go there are looking for education in some way and to make themselves better typically. So that networking groups are a lot of times good places because you get some entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs or newly entrepreneurs that are looking for some way to make their life better. And those are normally, you know, financially, but also like wellness centers or fitness centers and that kind of thing are communities that I have looked at.
Cool. Bobby has had his hand up. Go ahead, Bobby.
Yes. You're from Montgomery, Minnesota is known all over the world, of course, for their Kolachki days every end of July. And are you, as a Scandinavian, Kolachki seems to be, as an advertising mode, known all over the world. You know, looking back at promotional, you know, logos, things like "Remember the Embers" or "We're on your side, we're on your side," the incredible edible egg. Would you be interested in promoting alongside of your area in that Scandinavian kind of, you know, motion?
So just like utilizing the Kolachki days as an opportunity for me to advertise or to actually partner in them some way.
Well, that would automatically happen. I think the partnership would automatically happen if you were to use a Scandinavian approach. Are you Scandinavian?
I do have Scandinavian in me, yes.
Okay, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Using a Scandinavian approach along with your promotional motion, it would be, I think, helpful, you know, to the whole position of the, I don't, you know, I'm only guessing. I haven't attended any of your online definitions yet of what's going on, but yeah, that's only, I'm only looking at it from an advertising sort of
Okay.
motion. That's it. You know?
Yeah,
but
thank
yeah.
you. I can dig into that.
Yeah, it's a, I think it has a broad appeal because there's a lot of respect that goes along with Czechoslovakia.
All right, let's see. Mike Hahn had a question. Mike, do you want to unmute and ask your question?
Sure. Thank you, Yvonne. I was just wondering, are there any professional associations out there that are life coach oriented, and do you belong to them? And then my second question is, how is life coaching kind of changing in this COVID-19 world?
Yeah, there are some associations out there. ICF is International Coaching Federation, and they do have a Minnesota chapter. So I have just recently joined that, and I'm also in a couple of other groups as well. For the COVID-19, it's, did you ask how it's changing? how is life coaching changing? It depends on the life coach. I've always done my life coaching over the phone. And the only real difference for me with the life coaching is that now I am starting to utilize Zoom and actually meeting with people face to face. So because I was always over the phone, there's not much change for me in the life coaching. Some of the life coaches that met face to face have had to adapt to over the phone or using Zoom type technologies for their coaching.
And this is kind of a other question concerning COVID-19. I mean, treating people, what are some of the cases that life coaches are seeing right now? Is it pretty much the same or is it different?
It's actually pretty much the same. When people come for life coaching, a lot of times they're wanting to find out what is really most important to them at that time in their life, and that changes on a weekly, daily, monthly, yearly, hourly time. So I've always seen people that are wanting to get balance in their lives right now, not just balance, but really focusing on the boundaries. So the boundaries is a little bit new, but that really comes in with the balance piece of it. And also, people have always struggled with self-care, but now there's definitely more of a focus on it because it's so much more important with people not getting as much social connection as they used to, being at home, not getting as much movement as they typically would. So the self-care piece is a lot more important. So those are the two big things that I've seen, and they've been there, but now they're just expanded.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gary, go on ahead.
Thanks. So you touched on with Mike a little bit of incorporating Zoom, which again, I think more people, it's not only does the environment obviously now almost require that you use Zoom, but the audience are getting more comfortable where they're not intimidated. This Zoom thing that people are educated more about it, so that should help you in offering that tool, one. Secondly, you talked about retreats. Since you're in Montgomery and you want to try to get things rolling, you might check out the Pizza Farm, which is in Waseca, not that far away. Emily there is very open to different partnerships. Doesn't have a lake, but it's pretty nice setting and great pizza. That might be something down the road that you could do that would be, I'm guessing, fairly, she's very open to being an innovative partnership and have things done there. So just throw that out as a possibility down the road for you. And then the last thing, it's good that the associations that you're with, here again, you might look at, as I mentioned earlier, practicing your speaking and so forth. Perhaps there's a colleague, a fellow member there that might be willing to sit in on one of your presentations or just do a practice run to help critique you, to help polish your style and give you some feedback. I think that's the thing of trying to gather feedback from credible sources. Maybe there's somebody out of that group that you'd comfortable that be willing to do that for you and you do that for them perhaps.
Let's see, Jean had another question. Is there anything you need from the city or that the city could provide that could assist you to grow and promote your business?
No, I belong to the Chamber of Commerce. And there's, I mean, as a city, everything that I'm pretty aware of what's offered, and I just need to utilize it more, being more involved in some of the, like the Kolachki days and that sort of thing. One of my challenges has been that I do have 3 teenage kids, and so I do put a lot of their activities before mine. And I do also still have that 9 to 5. So I'm scheduling around a lot of things. And so with the speaking, that was one of the challenges that I found, was that it's really hard for me to schedule 3 months out. And so until I get rid of that 9 to 5 and open up my day hours, that will continue to be a challenge. But So, I mean, if the city ever knows of opportunities for me and shares them, then I would be able to be helped that way from the city. And just knowing some of the groups that are around here, but I have a pretty good feel of the groups that are in Montgomery. And I just need to get a feel of what other groups are still near to me, but an expanded area of Montgomery.
One thing I'm going to circle back to, you know, talking about who your target market is: women 30s to 50s, empty nesters, you know, stuck in life kind of thing. The demographics there are those folks that tend to be on Facebook, and using Facebook boosted ads and things like that is a fairly inexpensive way to reach out. So building your Facebook presence with things that they're going to find appealing and interesting will be really great. And I want to echo, I think it was Mike and Gary both said, the SBDC and SCORE have people who will sit and work with you on kind of putting together a plan for just focusing on Facebook. Sometimes it can feel sort of overwhelming to have all these different avenues, you know, like there's Instagram and there's Twitter and there's Facebook and there's flyers and there's networking and so many things to do. Perhaps with your schedule and everything, just focusing on one thing and kind of lasering in on that and using that to build at least a little bit bigger audience of mentees might help. And they've got great people at SCORE and at SBDC that can help you with putting together a really solid kind of plan for getting your Facebook, having a really strong presence there. That might be, you know, a suggestion I'd give too.
Thank you.
So how are we doing? We have any other questions? One of our other organizers like to ask the magic question that we always ask all of our presenters at the very end.
What can we as a community do to help your business grow?
So, I was expecting that. So like I said, I want to grow the life coaching part of my business, and I really do see how speaking opportunities will really open me up to getting in front of people and being able to share you know, what life coaching is, so that awareness is built around that, and start getting in front of people that way. So like I also already kind of mentioned, you know, community groups, networking groups, fitness and well-being groups are really good ones. So if anybody has contacts for those kinds of groups, that is what I'm looking for right now. You know, like I said, it's going to be people that are going through transitions, and, you know, people who are wanting to become better in, you know, some way, financially, physically, mentally. So that's what I'm looking for.
That's awesome. Thank you, Erin. I put one suggestion in the box there. Women Executives in Business is a kind of a Southern Minnesota regional group of women who own businesses or who hope to own businesses. And they're always looking for speakers. So I think yours would be right up their alley. Oh, good. Contact info. Awesome. This is all being recorded, by the way, so you don't have to scramble for a pen to write down our contact information. It'll be on our recording. It'll be on the website later. So thank you very much, Erin. Everyone, if you want to give her a round of applause, if you click on participants, you can click on the little applause next to your name, and just like the raise hand, there's a little thing where you can click on applause, or under reactions, you'll see on the bottom, you can click and you can put a little hand clapping thing next to your picture like I just did. So good job, Erin. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to take the screen back.
Okay.
I hope you'll keep coming to 1 Million Cups. I want to make sure that we reach out to all of our presenters. You're going to get a book in the mail. Please keep coming back to 1 Million Cups and keep talking. You'll hear marketing ideas. You'll hear and build your connections, you know, through this group too. There's a lot of the great camaraderie here, and people will send folks to you, I'm sure.